Welcome to today's video, guys. We're heading to the shop. Mike's helping me shift so I can drink my coffee. You know, he does more than just not autofocus clips.
Oh, come on, shut the f up.
How's the focus been, guys? Comment below. Has the focus been good? Because you're really hurting Mike's feelings. He's been scrolling through the comments, and every time you guys make fun of him, he sits in the corner and cries, and I have to have Alberto go and give him a big hug. Mike, third gear downshift, ready? Good job.
Before we delve too deep into the E36 project, I want to take a second and give a massive shout out to one of our sponsors, Ring. If you're not already familiar with Ring, their mission is to make neighborhoods safer, and they have these really awesome video doorbells and video cameras that keep millions of people safe all over the world. Ring helps you stay connected to your home via your phone, so whether there's a surprise visitor or a package delivery, you can see, hear, and speak to whoever's at your house, all from your phone. We actually have Ring cameras all over the warehouse too, and one thing that came in handy for me, I had to trace back on the footage and see when I came in the other day if I had my backpack, because it was like late at night, I was locking up and I couldn't find my backpack anywhere, and it turned out that I never even brought my backpack to the warehouse at all. So it comes in handy for more things than you would think. Obviously, package delivery is huge if you're in a cars and you have expensive packages being delivered, but it's also cool to see if like randos are at your doorstep. So Ring has been kind enough to sponsor quite a few of my videos and kind enough to extend a special offer on their welcome kit to you guys. All you have to do is go to ring.com/LZ. The kit includes a video doorbell and a Chime Pro, which is all you need to start building a ring of security around your home. Once again, it's just ring.com/LZ. I'd like to give a massive thank you to Ring for sponsoring this video, and now we can start tearing even more into the E36. All right, so the first thing that I'm personally doing today, we have a pretty cool setup that Shulman got for me.
Yes,
Shulman, what's the deal? True
So,
Focus Fab?
True Focus Fab, catch can and overflow combo tank. So you have overflow right here, and also your catch can here. Comes with dash 10 AN lines. You can go from your valve cover, dash 10 straight to the catch can. But cool enough, Radium makes a little banjo bung that goes right into the valve cover for dash 10. So it's pretty cool. So
Gear bung. So is this designed for an S13? Because it didn't really fit.
Yes.
So off camera, Mike was busy drinking wine in the office.
Man.
And this morning I bent the brackets and like repainted them a little bit and got it to kind of fit nicely in this little area. I'm not the biggest fan of having the catch can set up on the same side as the exhaust manifold, but it's just kind of the simplest place to put it, because then I can just run a dash 10 line from like here to here. But anyway, Johan kind of stole my job, and when I was going to get food, he put some rib nuts in, which I was going to do. How dare you?
Sorry, I did my
How
job.
dare you make my life easier?
Jesus.
How dare you do that?
That's why I'm here, right?
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm going to start on this. Alberto's doing some wiring stuff, and then Johan's going to start on the fab. Welcome back. There hasn't been a lot of talking or anything going on today because everyone's just been like super focused. Before I was working out like wheel specs and like adjusting the rear suspension and all that situated. Now I'm doing a fuel pump relay. So this is something we often talk about in videos, and last time was one thing that we didn't have when we went to the dyno. So a super simplistic explanation of why it's so important. In factory wiring, sometimes you'll get a little bit of a voltage drop, and it's really important, especially with higher horsepower cars and E85, which demands more fuel, to have the proper voltage for the fuel pump. So what we do is we have a relay here, and we take the signal wire that comes from the car, and that triggers the relay to turn on. And then what we have is a separate wire coming from the battery that's fused, that then supplies direct power with no sort of wiring interference, interruptions, straight to the fuel pump. We get a fresh ground for that, a fresh ground for the relay, and that's it. So when the factory car would be sending power to the fuel pump, instead it's just triggering the relay to turn on and then supplying all the juice to the pump. So I'm doing that right now. I'm not worrying about like trying to tuck wiring or hide it. I'm kind of going more with the race car approach with this car. So instead of like hiding it or tucking it somewhere far away, I'm just putting it right here because it's easily serviceable. If I need to pull the relay, if I need to change the relay, it'll be super easy to access versus trying to climb back in here with a cage and stuff. Yeah. So that is my logic. We'll give you guys an update on all the other stuff that's been going on in a minute when I finish this. All right, this is the pre-dyno boost leak test. Johan did a really good job on all the intercooler piping, but we're gonna see. Every time me and Alberto touch a car, there's always boost leaks. Does Johan belong with the crew? Will he have boost leaks?
Always?
Pretty much every time I boost leak a car, there's boost leaks.
But they work, right?
What? What works?
Like that one. I don't know how they worked.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Not mine.
Oh,
Big boost.
I told you, me and Alberto are the king of boost leaks.
That ain't mine.
We call us boost leak brothers. I see like a little bit from both almost, it looks like. It's hard to tell. All right, so one of the finishing touches, I'm trying to do as much as I can while Johan's doing fab stuff. Chase Bays has a really nice like fan relay kit. It's actually wired up for dual fans. It's got its relays right here. It's all pretty and wired. Look at that, super nice. Got fuses too. So all I gotta do is plug in the wires where they need to go. So we've got a signal coming from the ECU instead of using their thermostatic switch. That way we can program it however we want it. Mounting it though is kind of tricky. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to mount it to the frame rail down here with some nut certs. And I think it should be clean, easily serviceable, and look good. So hopefully I can get the drill bit down in there without taking that radiator hose out.
Yeah.
Nice little rib nut. Hey, it works! I did something! How it blow though? How it blow?
It blow pretty good, dude.
It's probably got low voltage right now. It is. It's only 10 volts. All the gauges appear to be working, which is good. That's awesome.
So we've got a list of stuff left over that we're just gonna do. I'm just gonna put the camera down.
Mike's been like a crazy big help, probably more help than filming with working on a car. I don't know that a filmer exists that also knows how to work on cars, but Mike does, and it's been amazing having him here helping, so I really appreciate you, Mike.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it done.
This is so defeating. 4 in the morning, we were supposed to get tuned at 10 in the morning, and we're running in this wild situation where all of a sudden the drive shaft is the wrong length. My theory is maybe the subframe bushings were so shot that the subframe was like slightly farther back. But even then, what do you think, Johan?
Yeah, that would be the only explanation, because subframe bushing and dip bushings were both replaced. That would be the motors in the same spot in relation to the transmission and adapter plate. It will be in the same location from there forward.
This isn't even close to going in.
Nah, it's binding really bad.
It's so
I
crazy.
believe there was 2 brackets holding this right here
Uh-huh.
on each side that they bolted to this, and then the brackets, this bolted to the bracket.
That just sucks. Like, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's a bummer because we just want to finish the car and we were gonna
Yeah, at this point it's 4 o'clock in the morning when I get in the dyno.
Yeah.
It's like it's not gonna happen unless something happens in the morning.
It just sucks because like we were like confident, like a car ran, got everything done, and then something stupid like this. It's part of the game, but same day drive shaft. Here we go again. All right, so this is pretty exciting. I haven't had a car fast enough to run Achilles 123s because they are so grippy that all my other cars would just bog or whatever. And finally, I have another car since the S15 that I can run them on. So we're getting a big shipment right now of 123s so I can run the same super grippy tire that I run on my FD car on the E36. So if you remember way back, I used to be known as the guy that always had overheating problems. Since then, on every fresh build, it's always a habit to use the radiator pressure tester to make sure there's no leaks or anything. These you can rent at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Auto Parts, AutoZone, Auto Napa, Auto, all those. And like, yeah, they're like kind of expensive, like $200, but when you return it, they give you all your money back. So you would basically hook it up. I will usually pressure test to around 17, 18 pounds. That's about the pressure of most of the caps you run. If you run a higher pressure cap, you can pressure test more. So you'll pressurize it and check for leaks. And a lot of times you'll see leaks that you wouldn't normally see when the car is running because the water will just end up evaporating before you can see it. So I've had like turbo lines leak and stuff where you can't figure it out and it drives you nuts. But look at this. Here's a perfect example. We have a water leak coming from kind of like behind the water pump. Very tiny little spray, but it's enough to where once there's pressure in the system, it leaks out. And then we lose an engine because it overheats, and we didn't know because there's an air pocket and it wasn't reading that. And
Good catch.
yeah, so I don't know. It's cool when every time you do one of these tests, you find something. It just reaffirms doing it. So definitely a good idea. Even if you already have an engine in your car, it doesn't hurt to do it to avoid problems in the future.
Right.
Especially when you're doing something on like let's say an SR where it's a pain to access lines like under the intake manifold. It's way better to find out before you're at the track when it's easier to work on it.
Like 5 minutes or so, Adam asks me where something is, and it's always 3 feet from him, just where he put it down 5 minutes ago.
I need to clarify because I tweeted this the other day. I'm like, I always lose my coffee before I can finish it, and people are like, how is that even possible? Look at this shop. I have no sort of knowledge of where I put it down. My mind is just like, oh, let me go fix this. I'll like put my coffee down like in here. I'll do it, then I'll move over here, and then I'll look. Usually, like if I ever lose stuff, just remind me in the comments. 9 times out of 10. I'll put it up here, like look. Here's a 16 mil wrench and probably a water from earlier in the day. That's my usual drop spot. Today apparently I've chosen to put my drinks up here. I wish. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
If I didn't have to cover the logo.
Remember?
Remember that time? I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the base map that Trevor made for me assumed that the car was on pump gas. He didn't know that I was running Ignite in it. So we were able to kind of trick the ECU into working for the time being until we properly set up a new base map by telling it it's a 3.4, so it's like commanding more fuel. We finally got an O2 sensor and I saw that it was still super lean at idle, so I actually bumped it up to thinking it's a 4.4 liter just for the time being to get it to idle and like rev a little bit. I can rev it up a little bit for you guys. The AFR is safe and you can hear it. And then I might try to drive it around and see how this car feels rolling, because I've driven this car once in a parking lot, so if I can drive it out of the parking lot, it'll be the longest I've ever driven. Now mind you, it's basically open downpipe right now. The exhaust isn't totally done, but that's pretty much what it's gonna sound like.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Ready?
I'm gonna try to pull her out.
Freaking do it, dude.
so good. This sounds so good.
I bluff out of my car, going away. I'm kidding, I'm not doing it.
Bro, all the AFRs and everything look good.
Really?
Yeah. Check out how much angle it has too. Watch this U-turn, you ready? No nothing.
That's awesome.
AFRs are good. Handbrake work. Handbrake works sick.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but it's, dude, this thing feels crazy. Like,
Really?
yeah, when you grab the handbrake too, I think because there's so much travel back, it almost feels like the Mustangs, where like you can feel the chassis like doing things. This is exciting. Look at me tuning. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm changing one number. It sounds like my Lambda's pretty lamb right now. So I felt confident enough to do a quick burnout because of the fact that I was watching the FRs and they were good and everything. But I thought that it wouldn't have, like, I forgot that I have super grippy tires in the rear, so I was hoping that I'd be able to just do a burnout and not go into boost and just kind of like low RPM hold it there.
No.
But I think, was I pushing the front tires? Because that's what it felt like.
It felt like it, yeah.
That's how much grip this thing has. I could feel it squatting. So I'm going to hop on TeamViewer with Trevor real quick, and we're just going to check to make sure everything's good, because I felt comfortable not in boost, but in boost. That's when things get a little dicey. So we did a burnout, though.
You did.
A little one.
It was sick.
Dude, it feels really good.
Yeah.
Like driving around the parking lot, it's not too bad.
That's awesome.
And the angle, I'm excited. We're going to call Trevi's Custom Tuning, see if he can help us dial in our Lambda. Yeah, I heard we've been tweaking our lambs in the Lambda, and I feel like we're leaning more towards the sheep. And I heard,
How many sheep are you at so far?
it was like 12.3 AFR. So what would that be like? A little under, it'd be like 0.9
Like-
lamb, 0.9 lamb.
That'd be like 0.85 lamb.
Both of us have terrible dad jokes, so we literally just talk in dad jokes. So let me know what you think about my tune. I adjusted one number and got her to do a burnout, so I feel pretty proud. ECU Master logs in absolute, or no, it logs in absolute pressure, so you have to subtract 14.5 from all the numbers. So like, it looks like we hit 31 pounds of boost, but that's really just like 15. So we got the handbrake all tightened down and everything. I will say I was a little bit nervous because it felt super soft. And we actually do have a 3/4 inch master, which usually would be the stiffer one, right? Because you have 5/8 and then you have 3/4. 5/8 is usually it's a little bit smaller diameter, so it's a little bit longer travel and a little bit softer to pull. And usually 3/4 is a stiffer one. It felt kind of soft, so I was nervous. But I realized those 4-piston Willwoods in the rear for the handbrake are like mental compared to what I'm used to. So they just locked up super easy and it was rad. And I'm pumped on my handbrake, and it's pretty much the only pretty looking thing in the car. Sicky wants you to go follow them, so go follow Sicky. I appreciate them. Shifter feels good from Click Tuning. I got to finally use it. The handbrake lines from Drift HQ are super rad. They're just kind of like mocked up in place right now. We haven't tightened anything down or got it like set in stone. but I'm excited. I got to drive the car, and I didn't even let you guys know. We did get the drive shaft working. What we were able to do is cut I forget which side it is. We basically cut it enough so we could slip the yoke in just a little bit more. Hopefully we can get a new one made, but for the time being, that was the best option, and it works now. So I'm pumped. I hope you guys are pumped. My weak little burnout, got to hear it drive and everything, but we're getting it tuned tomorrow. No sense in beating it anymore. Just gonna button up a few things, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this video, and I will see you tomorrow.
When you said